Welcome to another presentation of the Globe Sound Healing Conference. We now have the brothers Koren.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, David, for having us.
What are your names?
I'm Isaac.
I'm Torald, or Thor works, and we are brothers indeed, and so stoked to be here with you.
Welcome. I'm excited to talk with you. The brothers Koren are transformational voice leaders, music members, and artists passionate about hearing the world's song, one voice at a time. Having performed their original music to over 1 million people, touring with the likes of Pink, Coldplay, and Rod Stewart as the Ken, the brothers now focused on fostering first time and reclaiming voices of all walks of life, especially those who thought they couldn't. The brothers are journeymen and guides for those seeking deeper connection and healing through the profound medium of voice, music, and song.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's just poetic just hearing that. So what have you guys been up to?
We just got off a call with about 150 real first-timer reclaiming voices who are scared, really scared to make a sound and to be heard and to recognize perhaps their uniqueness and their distinctness.
And we're actually stage 2 in this course we created called Reclaiming Your Big Voice. And it's really, stage 2 is about, bringing under your wing what we call the small voices, the parts of you that broke off, that went unheard, and we'll talk a bit about that today, but really sounds that went unsounded. We also had the pleasure over the last, this morning and last night, David, of having a private songwriters journey client of ours come to town. And it's something we do it's how we started our work in the world, was private one-on-one multi-month experiences where we invite someone to get to know themselves through the mirror, the reflective mirror of music, song, voice, either for the first time or because they left music on the wayside somewhere in their life to get on with practicalities of life maybe, and we become their brothers. So we've been doing that a lot too again, which has just been, so we get to live into this incredible passion we have to.
And we've been dreaming over the weekend. We were with our a group of people, the Association of Transformational Leaders, who are all up to big things, wanting to create a better, a better world, really, the world they want to live in. And we made a pledge to create a foundation for the voices of the world.
I love it. That leads us into the big question. If you had all the money in the world, what would you do to help people?
Do you want to go first?
Well, really, it would be into the foundation for us, I believe, because this foundation is about using the voice not just for physical health and well-being, but for mental and emotional health, which we both have our own connection to, and stories, and music has really helped us in different ways and similar ways sometimes to move through the perhaps discomforts and even trauma of life, because life tends to bump into us. I haven't met anyone who's been spared from, the bumps, and some, intensely and gravely. So, the voice we find as complex vocal learners is an instrument of change and healing in our life. And so we want ultimately money to not be the issue. So if a large amount of money was to come along, we would use it for that aim to kind of really put ourselves out of business, in the sense that we want it to be free and accessible for every voice from all walks of life to step into their connection and power and healing voice.
Yeah, I mean, yes, please. I would say, you kind of have, which is great. I'll just sort of tuck in and say, we would do exactly what we're doing. And we would do it on a larger scale, more a wider level. We would spend more time creating master coaches of what's come to us to guide, which what we're really doing is not really based on any discipline or kind of root lineage. It's more based on just two brothers that have kind of showing our way, which is a universal way. It has all these different parts naturally in it. And I feel like we would just make it irrelevant. And we actually really believe that money has an energy, money is energy. And so I love this idea of setting up a foundation where someone who truly knows that their voice has this incredible value that's been disenfranchised, that's been disconnected from, and to create programs that they can apply into, to put themselves out there and say, yes, I request to be here with you. That energy exchange, to do that to millions of people from around the world would be just the deepest possible thing we could do.
And particularly kids. We had the pleasure of teaching our work to kids in a fourth grade environment this week, and it was transformative for us just to kind of hold a safe space for children, at the age where most of us often get shut down for the first time, and where we become aware of sounding cool or funny or trying to kind of perform a particular way, and kind of scared out of feeling the more vulnerable feelings. And
I don't know if you know, but we got $100,000 grant to take our entire curriculum with 24 instructors into 2 Montessori schools. And over 7 years, we've created 2,500 exercises for kids from 3 months all the way up to 18 years. And we've got it in many schools now. And we're now getting major grants to create like 40 schools around the world and bring it into different governments. So it might be really cool to sync with you guys and incorporate what you're doing into this curriculum.
Wow, that sounds incredible.
Oh my God, I got to tell you, we've been doing online classes with 3 to 6 year olds, and there's this one little girl named Krissa, right? And Krissa's like, all the kids took them a little bit, of call and response until they were comfortable making the sound of how they feel.
Yeah.
And then Krissa goes, "Can we do the sound of love?" And I'm like, okay, it's 4 years old, right? And I'm like, okay, you want to lead it? She says, yeah. And she goes, ooh, right? And then check it out. About a few months later, Chris's mom was in the shift class.
Wow.
With 500 students, right? And Krissa was there with her mom. And I go, Krissa, you're a graduate, right? And all the people in my class, of course, most of them still scared to death to make sound, right? Yeah. And I go, Krissa, you want to lead 500 adults in the sound of love? And she goes, oh yeah. Yes. 4 years old. And she goes in the class with 500 people. She goes, ooh.
That's
amazing. Yes.
Freedom right there.
And that's really all. We're inviting the same people, the terrified adults, back to their free child 5-year-old self. And then, because we just cover that self up, or they get scared out of our body, or scared out of the feeling part, we get scared out of feeling that part, that traumatized part. So yes, we build those layers as adults. We get too serious, or we get serious and shut down.
And that seriousness, those layers, we look at it, our work's really centered around the embodied voice, which to us means how associated in body and how claimed inherent value are you in what we call the whole body instrument. And we find that a repeated trauma and fitting into the appropriate, naturally boxy world of expressing oneself in the marketplace and family, community, society, we often get invited out of our bodies to be disassociative, to be disassociated, and we almost prize disclaiming. We almost make it like a thing we do for each other, like disclaim ourselves so that people can fill that space we disclaimed. And so a lot of our work is really just centered in on inviting people back to claiming and associating. And we find, David, I'm sure you find this in your world, that nature does the rest, because we remember, like that 4-year-old that you're describing, Chrissy, is that what you said? We remember, we know that that's our inherent natural native state to be empowered, connected, and liberated. We know it.
We do.
And as babies, we had it down. I mean, if you had anything going on, you let it out freely with zero thought of what anybody thought about whether you're doing it right.
Not at all.
Zero.
Right. And then 1 or 2, it's like, shh. We need a much noisier world.
Yes.
Yes. At least more harmonious.
We love it. Yeah. The noise of nature.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's such a beautiful thing to see that occur. That's beautiful.
So tell us, give us, first of all, I got a couple of questions at once here. First of all, give us the overview of the process. And then I've got a question about how you got started, because I imagine you guys, you worked with, did what, rock and roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll start there. It starts with our mum, this story, considering we're brothers. She was in the original cast, Pacific touring cast of Hair, and in the early 70s. And just was such a free spirit and expression of herself. And then she had this calling to learn, to learn meditation. She went to India, found her guru, met our father in the ashram, and then and we came along. And at some point recently, we found out that there was a moment that she went back to Hair, to a second audition after she came back, and heard some woman auditioning who had some serious pipes and thought, oh, I'm not good enough, and walked out of the audition before even writing her name down. This only just recently came out.
Chills. Yeah.
But so anyway, we came along, and she really kind of put her expression on hold. Let's just be honest. And it wasn't until we were teenagers that she kind of had this awakening, and we call it a fabulous midlife crisis, where she realized that
out of nowhere
she had left this back burner, the wayside of her voice, and it was what had never gone anywhere, but it was just like, erupting. And she ended up leaving our father, leaving the country. And moved to New York, with this calling, like I've got to find my voice. I've got to find my expression and satisfy this urge in me.
That's like early mid 90s, pre-internet, mother of three, moving to another country. That's radical, right? It's a radical leap for sure. And so she came. We followed one by one, and we met up at the end of high school for me, and Isaac was a couple years into college, and we'd both gone into music separately. It's a whole other story. We didn't sing together until we were teenagers, and we came together to write a song for our dad's second wedding, because we'd not given him, and we hadn't got a gift. And we're like, what do you even give your dad? We're like, well, let's write a song. And so we came together and we sung for the first time. We went, okay, we can't not do this together.
You heard the harmony, this kind of greater, the sum is greater than the parts. And so we did follow that. Yeah.
The overtones. So we got into New York, and we said, okay, we're here, we're living with mom as late teenagers. Surely success is a week away. We'll just dig in. Who do we know to book a show? We ended up at the, some of the infamous kind of open mics and getting gigs. It ended up at the bitter end and ended up pretending we were promoters. I mean, playing at happy hour to 8 people. I mean, we did it all just sort of unapologetically, just lent in. And, over the course of not a week, but 15 years, we had a career that lived out a lot of our dreams. I think we didn't get anywhere close to quite the biggest band in the world like we were envisioning, but it took us on all of these turns, nooks and crannies. And we got to play to well over 1 million people, gold records in some smaller countries. And we lived out what we envisioned until a point where we took a break from touring and said, wow, we have this really strong gut feeling to help other people. Like, I think, David, we're always bored of the stage, and
the fourth wall,
as alluring as it is to play to 20,000 people or hundreds, we felt that we're always trying to break that wall. Like Isaac said, we're always trying to get on the floor. We're always trying to circle people up. We're always trying to sit with people on their laps, even,
or have them sing, and most importantly, hear them.
Hear their voices.
We're always so curious to hear the audience and be encircled and be connected. So, like Torrod said, on this move out to LA, we moved our young families out thinking that we were, going to write for some insert pop, famous pop star here. It seemed like the thing to do, because being on the road was, there was a shift in us. And soon we found ourselves very disconnected from the why, the source in us in our daily practice of songwriting. Just culturally, we found that the rooms we were in weren't asking the questions that we like to ask. just about humanity and what they're interested in, I guess, values and ethics. So
They were trying to write a
we
good
looked
song.
at each other going, is this it for you? Because okay,
Yeah.
good.
The same
right?
afternoon, we asked ourselves the same question.
We realized we were on the same page, and it wasn't it. But then that kind of the gulp of, okay, but what are we doing here then?
We've relocated small families.
Yeah.
So we said, well, what if it's not this? What is it? And we think the best song, if you will, download, which was, what if we put together all of the voice coaching I'd done for, at the time, well over a decade, and all the mentoring and research into what Isaac calls musical cosmology. What if we brought it all together and became someone's brothers? And what if we forgot about the marketplace, the music industry, the entertainment world? What if we instead invited someone to consider letting us on their boat, and in that boat heading out to the creative unknown? And what if for multiple months we got to know them like brothers would? And what if we created guided studies and games that help them turn inward, back to their whole body instrument, back to what we call musical cosmology, a study of the music that's moved them their whole life, and help them direct into the fascinating story, like fodder for song, metaphors, message, soundtrack, and got into the written word, free writing? What if we put it all together, and after multiple months, only then, what if we started to co-create song with them? And so we put it together, gave it a name, and a couple of weeks later, someone requested us in an interesting way, and we said, actually, we do this thing we've never done, but we're going to do it with you. And we went one person at a time, and referral after referral. And then we asked about a year into it, this is for anyone. This isn't just for someone in LA wanting to become an artist. This is for anyone from any walk of life. And we had experience there as coaches. So we thought, well, who do we know in the self-development world? The rest is history. We're here with you 10 years later. And we've helped not just people create the song of their lives, but to re-engage, but come home to the embodied voice that's theirs to sound out how it feels this lifetime. That's really our
beautiful
call.
mum is now a coach, a master coach in our work, and can't wait to get back from Australia to be with. She loves being with people and helping them through some of their small voices into the big voice with us.
Well, tell us what you do, because I already guessed that there's a lot of minute details for different issues and different I mean, the possibilities are just endless and so unbelievably powerful, right? So what is it? Just what is it you do with people?
Well, great question. I think to answer that, we can answer that in some words, and then at a certain point today, with you in this moment, with whoever's watching, we'd love to give you a direct experience of it with you. But do you want to give some words?
Yeah,
also just to give you an idea, if you want to work with my voice,
great,
fantastic,
that could be interesting. I'll be a guinea
really
pig.
fun.
I'll be a guinea pig. Yeah,
because
I'm an interesting case.
Well, tell us about your voice. How's your voice been, your relationship to it through your life?
Well, I'm really free with my voice, of course, because I do sound healing, right? I can do any sound. I have no qualms about expressing myself. But when I get to having to sing in pitch, especially by myself, there's sometimes fear comes in, but in the last couple of years working with some higher beings, I've getting to the points where I can go into the zone so much that the fear is gone. I don't even think about it. So I'm in transition to totally being able to sing, because I've learned that if I'm in the zone enough, I don't have to worry about pitch, because here's the other problem. I'm a professional recording engineer. I worked with James Brown's band, the Doobie Brothers, a lot of major groups. And so I'm really good at hearing pitch.
Yes.
Because in the recording studio, I'm like helping them to get on pitch, right? And so I know when I'm off, right? And it's like, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, is really free with my voice, but a little scared to sing.
That's beautiful. Thanks.
So well said.
Thank you for sharing that. Well, we'll play in a little bit of that together. The one thing I'll say before we begin a voice experience, our work is really about what we do is help usher people back to the whole body instrument and help them fall back in love with the way they can hear and sound out who they are, and to fall back into trust and love with the sounds they make, and especially the sounds that have yet to be sounded, which means the parts of them that went undigested, unmetabolized, that is just resonance waiting to be sounded, songs to be sung. The other part of what we do is we use song, original song particularly, as a medicinal medium, that we believe when you can truly get to the core of your musical coordinates and for the first time in your life, create original song that only you could truly share, that when that occurs, alchemy occurs, that things that it's like they're held forever, and things that you've been through that were challenging become gifts, not just for you but others. So that's the other part of, we really guide people into that. We also love, David, working with like groups of people and companies and showing them how this and what you described is a medium for innovation and for being together and working together toward goals. And then last but not least, we've been so thrilled to be in the sound healing world, and just really with our collaboration with Eileen McCusick, Sing the Body Electric, really looking at what we call the sonic anatomy and really mapping out the ability for us to move with total coherence, especially when we've gone to places that might have stuck sounds and are willing to make those sounds.
Yeah, maybe we'll use a couple of those sounds today. And yeah, so we really just want to invite, it's interesting because the way we see the whole body instrument is part receptive and equal parts expressive. And so like you said, I mean, most of us are built hardwired to hear the sacred geometry of sound and can recognize the beauty of the symmetry inherent in these sacred ratios that have been gifted to us. Yeah. And more than that, we have the brains, the left and the right, the audio and the visual cortex that can decode these ratios or sounds into this perfect music. And so we can hear perfection, like you said, we can actually receive it. We can receive it. And then in our expression, in the kind of rising up, that like, you know, asymptotic relationship with perfection that humans have, this reaching, but maybe never or ever getting there in the truest sense of the word, right? But can we, you know, align that receptive, which can receive perfection, with that expressive, which may always be trending towards perfection? Can we be okay with perhaps that, you know, small or large chasm between them, right? Sometimes a voice is near perfect, right? I was listening to Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You, because my 7-month-old loves that song. And I could hear for the first time her trembling and her slight imperfection. And I'd never really heard it before, but I could tell maybe she's terrified. Even Whitney Houston can feel those feelings that every person, you know, any walk of life can feel when they're in the vulnerability of their voice. So yeah, I just want to, this voice exercise that we'll walk you through will be inviting you through from reception into expression and you know, looking for that coherence rather than that rub, perhaps, or be acknowledging the rub and feeling it and singing it. It's there. So do you want to begin the invitation?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, we're going to, like Isaac said, we're going to make an invitation. We're going to set the container of your whole body instrument. We're going to go into reception. We're going to go into simple sounds. And then we're going to really go from south to north, up the central channel, just really connecting the whole instrument itself, and then kind of end in encouraging some free singing, some singing that's connected first and foremost to how you feel. And as we begin, the one invitation we have is to truly promote how it feels, and move second, how does it sound?
And we're going to be talking to you, David, and anyone watching this, you at home. We invite you to act as if we're talking to you also, and follow the requests and prompts as well at the same time, wherever you are.
Here we go. Yeah. So taking this moment, we just invite you to close your eyes if you wish, just for a moment. And at any other time than this, you can freely add eyes back, but can they be rewired to be part of your experience rather than eyes to watch? Can we unwatch ourselves? Can we unwatch and allow the eyes to drink in like portals of your resonance? Can they be part of your voice? And the same thing with your ears. Can you just feel your ears rewiring to drink in the room around you, our voices? And can you taste your own mouth here? How does it taste to have your mouth? Simply, how does it feel to swallow? And in this moment, can you just simply invite yourself back behind the playground of your face? Notice that its shape, its nooks, its crannies, its cavities are entirely unique. And can you arrive back behind it, safe back inside your own skull? Can you lean back on your spine, which we can see as these beautiful notes like vertebrae falling, cascading down like a beautiful scale? Can you lean back and let your body instrument have you? And can you simply make that invitation again to arrive home in the middle center of it all, just simply filling the cavity, becoming the resonance that's home in this instrument made just for you, and leaning back now, taking a seat in your seat, just feeling that sovereign space of your pelvis, and then feeling your feet kissing the ground. Can you draw up that beautiful energy just naturally? No need to adjust. Can you feel your feet connecting to that seat? And then last but not least, can you feel that belly of yours splay open? We invite you to be fat and happy instead of holding anything in. Can we allow the bag of our bagpipe to begin to move forward in all directions like Isaac's doing? And can you connect to your exhale, slowing the breath down to sing a speed? You might want to hiss in the back of your throat, Ujjayi breath, or go to a shh, or even a s. Whatever you choose, allowing yourself to immediately surf the exhale. And just as you're doing these breaths, we just invite you to feel all of your skin like the human wood that you've been given. All of your skin, all of your pores firming, becoming crystalline material, just like a piano has firm wood that reverberates. Can you start to feel your skin firming, becoming that beautiful reverberant material for you? Beautiful. And last but not least, as you exhale and inhale, we invite you to allow that biofield, that space, that acoustic chamber in front of you, behind you, to the sides of you, start to feel that natural buoyant dome of sonic space that nature gave you. And like Isaac's doing, can you send that exhale like steam from a kettle in all 360-degree directions? Can you just let it ride on the wind? Couple more.
Can you already be generous with this sound? Can you let this white noise fill you with energy, cortical charge, electricity, magnetism? Can you receive this sound? Deepening your breath, deepening your connection, just asking yourself, how does it feel? Singing is really, for us, just connecting to the feeling of your breath, your exhale, surfing it, like Charles said, all the way, being selfish like the surfer, eking out every part of that wave, every part of that exhale until that natural breath of air rushes in. Beautiful. We want to just, in the next, just breathing silently now, I want to just switch on your listening. I want you to listen outside the room you're in. Extend your hearing, your bionic sensation, sense of hearing that you've been gifted outside the room, and find one sound that you can hear. And can you feel that sound? Beautiful. Now bringing your hearing inside the room you're in, the four walls, wherever you are, and find one sound and feel that sound. Now I want you to take your thumbs and put them in your ears so that you're blocking the sound from the outside world, listening inward to the symphony of your blood, your heartbeat, your cranium, any sound that you can hear inside. We'll spend 1 minute here, blocking it with your thumbs. Beautiful. And now just listening to the sound of the piano, can you receive this sound with your whole body? Can you listen from your toes, up your legs, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your belly, your chest, your back, your arms, your neck, your head, the tip of your head? Let the hairs on your skin stand on end like antennae to receive.
A little closer to the mic.
To receive these shapes, these sounds. Asking yourself, how does it feel? How do you feel? How do these sounds make you feel? Beautiful. And without any thought, can you rise that energy from that belly, now breathing into that belly again, that bagpipe, that balloon. And on the exhale, any sound, keeping that sound inside your mouth, inside your palate, sending that sound inward as if it was a golden substance filling a cup in you. Can you dine in and inwardly have an experience of your voice today? Any note here. Feeling all the way up. Adding sound to the feeling. Filling the cup inside you from the foundation all the way up to the brim, right around your heart where you get to overflow today. And if you are full, wonderful. Whenever you are full, your cup is full of your voice here today in the sound. Open the lips into an ah. If you're not full yet, keep it as an Go at your own pace.
just to invite you back again to feeling over sound. How does it feel versus how does it sound? Bring it back to the front of your lips for a second. And we just want you to imagine a favorite meal. What's a meal growing up that just made you feel comforted, cozy, loved? Taste it. Invite it to the front of your lips, onto your palate, onto your tongue. And in this moment, give that an elongated as you taste it. Can you taste that meal? Is it salty or sweet? Bit of both. Is it sour or spicy? I don't know. It's all worth tasting. Only you can taste it. Notice you're so good at tasting. Can you taste it on your own voice? Beautiful. And now when you're ever ready, can you conjure up a memory where you felt safe and rejuvenated? Maybe it was a trip, you were with someone. Can you feel the awe of as you conjure up that memory here? Just remembering how you felt, letting carry on its wind, on its wings, that memory. And now we're gonna invite you to become your own sonic healer. We're gonna use some of our work in Sing the Body Electric. We're gonna use a couple of sonic anatomy tones to do some whole body voice scanning, to really be curiously in search of areas that feel dimmed or sounds that went unsounded. And we're going to essentially turn ourselves into a tuning fork, into a pipe of a church organ even. Can we go to that pipe and tune it for its resonant spectrum and see how that we can recalibrate ourselves sonically?
I'm going to set the foundation of the instrument, the sonic anatomy sound, wah. We're going to start off low, and then we're going to move it up through the zones of the voice. Here we go, wah. Any sound, your lowest speaking tone, wah. Setting that intention for safety. Wah. Moving it up, giving it a little bit more energy, moving it into the zone 2, where we connect with our belly, our courage, our conviction.
Beautiful. One more here, letting your power. It doesn't have to be pretty, it can be anything that wants to come out. Beautiful. Just noticing if that felt powerful or a little bit dim. We'll come back there. Come up to the now, the zone 3, the receptive cup of your heart. Can we invite wah up into our hearts to soften?
Put a hand over your chest if you like. Feel that resonance in your chest.
Last one. Beautiful. last but not least, we're going to, 2 more zones. We're going to come into zone 4, the playground of your face. And we encourage people to get wild here, to reclaim their wilderness, to get ridiculous, animated, too much, too big, too inappropriate in the face. And we're going to invite you to invite wah up
Crying out now through the face. To the final zone, out the crown of your head, drinking in but also sending out this beautiful reciprocal. Here we go, singing through the top of your head, finding the highest tone of your voice today that's comfortable. Just noticing which zone. Was it the low tone? Was it the low zone, or was it the
belly,
the big belly sound? Or was it the heart tone? Was it the face playground? Or was it the high tone of the crown that feels like it wants to be touched again, feels like it could use more of your voice attention? Which one do you choose, David?
I would say solar plexus.
Okay, zone 2, okay. All right, pick your beautiful place to go back. Some sonic self-care. Here we go. We'll do a minute, whichever zone you choose. Where are you choosing?
I'm going to go the
Crown?
top, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to choose my ground. Wow. Here we go. My zone 1. Here we go. Wow.
Just taking a moment to reflect on that feeling that you have now. What sensation do you have in your instrument now?
And we believe in the honorable pastime of taking a moment to reflect on how you feel in general after any voice experience, any voice warm in, just an inhale, exhale, to honor yourself for giving yourself this time. If you've taken this time with us and David, that you gather experiences, one experience at a time, and one day you look up and you won't even remember a time you weren't liberated and weren't free to play with your full sonic spectrum. So
how do you feel, David?
Incredible. So it's kind of an epiphany here.
Excuse me.
It's really cool. So I teach a good amount of voice, but I teach a chakra treatment, in fact, which I'm doing in the conference here, where I've learned a long time ago when I had panic attacks that if I just find the note of each chakra and tone it one by one, kind of like we just did, right? That the panic attack would go away completely. And not only would it go away, I would be blissed out.
Yeah.
Right. And I got rid of all my Xanax. I got rid of all of the fear. And so this is the epiphany. You know, I've been thinking, okay, I got to learn my notes. I got to learn the range below my falsetto, the range above my falsetto. I know my home note of my voice, which is important because that's where I'm most comfortable.
Mm.
That's really important. But to actually realize that I can just, I mean, because most voice teachers say, use your diaphragm, bring it from the diaphragm, and that's where it resonates the most, right?
Mhm.
But now I've got freedom to go through all the chakras that I know really well.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Of course you
And
do.
so now instead of like thinking, okay, thinking notes and thinking, got to do it right as far as the whoa, right? I'm just going to now tune into my body of my chakras that I know so well. And I can go, oh, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So good. Yes.
Freedom.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I already know me.
That's right.
You know you, and so does everyone here with us in this session. And nature knows you. And just because, and I've been an embodied voice guide of some kind for 20 years since I was a teenager. So I get to say this, but a lot of voice teachers aren't realizing that they are showing the way through projection and externalization techniques, which is keeping people further away from their greatest voice of their life. I say that with respect, but the truth is often we what we really need is to be ushered home and then to gather technique later in that order. And technique is overrated for the most part to me as a voice guide. The greatest voices of people's lives come from everything but technique most of the time.
I've got some interesting things to share with you and see what you guys think. Okay. So first, I teach and have been doing treatments to to find a person's home note, which is their metabolism rhythm. It's an average of their heart rate and brainwave rate, which you don't have to average out. And that's your natural speed of your metabolism. It's actually a rhythm. And if you octavize that up, that's your note, right? Because octavizing any frequency is still the same note,
That's
right?
right.
So there's that, your metabolism rhythm. But then there's the note of your voice, which is the key that you sing in when you speak.
That's right.
Right, this key that I sing in, this is, and people commonly go to the Sound of Love with that note. It's like, I really love my kitty. I love my kitty. Some go to the musical Fifth. I love my kitty. I love my kitty. Right, but that's the home note, and it's the one that you can tone the easiest and the longest.
Yes. Yeah.
But then there's a third note that I help people find, which is the sound of love for them, not of their voice, but in their heart, silently scanning different frequencies after you're feeling love and finding the note of that. So you got a chord of your metabolism, your voice note, and your heart note. And this one psychic, for what it's worth, she goes, oh my God, if you teach people and show people their chord of those three, that will get them back to them.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
Wow,
That's so
metabolism,
beautiful.
voice, and heart.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, we're going to be right up there to where you're living, and we can be your guinea pigs next. I particularly want to find my metabolism note. It sounds really fun.
It's what I really got also is to start for that I realize it's so important is the number one note of my voice or a person's voice is going to be the note of the key that they sing in when they speak.
That's right.
Exactly.
Which you can easily find just by breathing out and letting it out with no energy at all. Here's mine. Oh.
It's nice and low.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not singing. I'm not pushing.
Hi.
That actually might be
Right.
mine too.
And then I realized that is so key to use that as the beginning of it all.
Oh yeah.
because that's you right there
It's
in
you.
your
Yeah.
voice.
That's the natural you, the natural tone.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've found, David, I love what you're talking about. In some of our work with Eileen, we were kind of looking at, it came from many years of really looking at, to me, the physics of a string as well, and thinking about, when you're tuning a guitar string, of course, you start low, and if it's a new string, you wind up slowly, then you pull on it, you release its tension, you release any areas that may have been still not used to warmth and rhythm, and you tune back up to it. And if it's a little sharp, you never just drop it. You always go below and back up. So think about the vocal cords, but then also the whole cavity of the whole body instrument, and thinking about our whole being as this resonant spectrum, just like you're talking about, and being able to scan and move from its lowest to highest moments, really looking only for its effortless power. And anytime hitting any tense point, just simply encouraging yourself to go below there, instead of being like, we're so taught to be willful in the world, when willingness is the way of being here. If we hit a moment of tension that doesn't feel good, all we have to do is not judge it, but just come below it where it felt good. Back to that natural, masterful ease. And what we've discovered is we do that and we stay just below it. It starts to relax open. We can then lean up into that place that felt tense, and it's no longer tense, because we've wrapped our little beautiful sonic arms around that place rather than judged it,
Or focused on it,
or
tried to fix it or push through. Yeah. We all have that natural break in our voice that, can we reframe as beautiful, vulnerable, and even just explore it, like Charles said, from above and below, and just kind of play with it, instead of fixate on it as an impurity.
I love that, using the voice. When people have trouble with their voice, I'll say, okay, so scan and find where it's the frequency where it breaks up.
Yeah.
And then go to the edge of it, exactly like you said. Go to the edge of it and just softly move into it. So you massage, you're smoothing it over with your tone, right? Yeah, don't do it too much, because you can actually make it worse, right?
That's right.
It's really, so yeah.
That's right. Beautiful.
Oh my God. I love this. I love it.
That's
So what do I do about my childhood trauma?
And do you specifically talking about the thing you shared earlier about, like, wanting to be in pitch, be in tune, or
No, I'm
general?
just going into the area of if someone's
trauma.
got a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
We call it the small.
Which I could share mine if you,
Yeah.
but if
If
you
you-
want to get into it, but
if you wish.
it's a whole, and maybe that's the cause of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we yes, and we both have our own vulnerable stories as well, and we call them small voices, and they're those traumatized little parts of us that become these automatic thoughts or sensations, alarms that go off around, particularly our expression when we're taking a risk, when we're, if you've got a mix of a song and you're right at the end of the process, and the perfection, the perfectionist, it's got to be perfect voice starts kicking in and literally can stop a project for good, or for months, or for years, right? And it's like, well, it's never done unless it's perfect. So that voice is kind of like the blockade at the end, right? Or if for beginners, perhaps, or I have this small voice, I'm not good enough, and it came because voice and singing came as a surprise for me when I was 15, kind of later in my development, and so that small voice has kind of lingered. Other small voices are like, I'm not worthy, my voice isn't worthy, or I'm not safe is a big one.
I don't matter.
I don't matter, or it's got to be perfect, or I'm too much.
I'm too much is a big one. So David, we found that working with thousands of different voices, we wanted to kind of hone in on what makes an inhibition that shows up in the voice, because the voice is such a mirror of our vulnerability. Of course, we could throw out all these statistics, new ones, are kind of off the charts at how many people are more scared to speak than die. Statistically, there's some wild stats out there on this. But what it really says is we're really afraid to speak who we are. We're even more afraid to sing out who we are. It's a big deal. But what we found is underlying our childhood traumas that we've all been through, small, medium, large, critical, are little moments that our bodies and our lives couldn't fully metabolize, digest, and truly go through, scooping that part of us up, understanding, reflecting, grieving, being with, and moving on powerfully. A lot of us just didn't have the space, the support, the family,
Awareness.
the awareness, or just truly just not the right environment to take the time that we needed. And most of us that have traumas, we can look at them as sounds and songs that went unsounded and unsung to the level that they needed to be. And so we see the small voices as opportunities. The definition to us is any automatic, unsupportive, and negative leaning thought, feeling, sensation, or emotion that triggers in your body or mind that is trying to quickly and loudly say, "Are you sure?" And
because last time it didn't work out.
Last time it didn't work out. We often find that we can easily interpret these as humans as statements or things to war against in ourselves or fix, rather, little parts of us that are asking loud questions, trying to give us the last warning. Are you sure this time it's safe? Are you sure this time we're not too much? Are you sure this time that it is enough and good enough? Are you sure it's perfect enough? And we find these beautiful opportunities to really invite those small voices back under our wing and say, look, I've got you this time, and this time I got this. We don't need to be perfect. We can just, this mix is good, you know?
Oh my God. So this brings up, I think, a core concept that is really the core of this when you get to expression, because I think of it in one respect as flow, getting past a blockage, which was the trauma, and letting it flow again, right? It's based on flow of music, which is, made up of frequencies and timbres and musical intervals.
Yeah.
But here's the tricky part. Once you learn to flow, you have to be careful to not overwhelm people, right? You have to be careful not to hurt people's feelings. I mean, because if you just go, you suck, right? It's like, you feel great. You suck, right? It's like, I got it out. I feel great. And the person's on the floor groveling, or just even in all different situations, in relationships, in business, to be in a balanced flow of your power that is considerate. And I haven't quite figured this one out. Any thoughts about it? Because it's the hardest thing. Because, and you got to watch, because different people's boundaries or sensitivities are more or less depending, in fact, I've run into situations where I think, oh, this person's really cocky. They're right up front. I can be really strong with them. And I find that they're actually a delicate flower underneath, and they're just melting on the floor.
That's true. And I think it's a muscle we train, right? Our perception, but also holding a safe space for ourselves and others, I think usually requires our empathy and compassion and deep listening, right? Because like you just said, what are we listening beyond their performance of who they are? Are we listening for what they're not saying? Are we listening for the tone, the music of their voice? Because usually the music can tell us, the frequency of their voice can tell us how they're really feeling. And so the voice can be a good litmus test or a good way of identifying, what they're feeling. Because if their voice is up here and they're really stressed out, then they're probably kind of having an out of their body experience, or they're kind of, holding a lot in. If they're relaxed and they're in their speaking, like their kind of home resonant zone, like you said, then they're probably more receptive and
can handle more,
and have more capacity and width for your reception.
I got it from what you said, finally.
Yeah. I'd like to
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I want to hear the epiphany.
Yeah. Tell us your epiphany first.
Oh my God. It's the whole deal. The whole deal is, some people think expressing themselves is just getting it out. but it's really exactly what you said, to getting it out exactly, multi-track mind while listening intently at the
Oh yeah.
same time.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and
Oh,
it's not a small deal. I mean,
No.
it's very high conscious awareness to be able to do more than one thing at a time. It's the
yeah.
whole brain working, actually.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so to be able to be totally aware of where they're at and how they're receiving and hearing and what they're saying back as you're speaking, that's the deal. I finally got it.
And we can only do that, we believe, this is our bias, we can only do that complex, two-way radio thing when we're at home in our body.
And that's
where
that's
we
exactly
can
what I'll
be
pick
in
up. I want to add this because you're looking, David, you're looking at someone who almost died from mental illness, particularly because I was so disassociated from my body. In fact, in full disclosure, I felt like I was living out of my body, trying to clean my body to get it ready to live my best life, which was like a constant ritual. What I discovered in coming home and then guiding others to do the same is the safest thing you can do. And I mean, you and anyone else listening, is first come home to your body. Hopefully you'll stay there. And when you find yourself out, what an opportunity to come back and not just come home to the body, but become the resonance and then firm your crust. My great late teacher, J.R. Takama, would say, which means to me, firm the instrument. Start to feel your skin firming, not holding you in, but becoming a container for you. And then last but not least, allow that field up and buoyant all around you so that this whole body instrument that you are and have to be in this lifetime is in its right nature. And what we find is most people that are really volatile or annoying or disruptive are so not home in their body, firm skin and field up. And last but not least, when you're in the middle center of that space, you can start to reconnect to that compass, that that senses the world around you. And as soon as we do that, we're in our right time, right place, in the right amount, which means we have discernment, nature's discernment to look out and say, there's someone that can only handle so much because they're not in their instrument, they're still in their trauma. And so instead of having to come out and express everything we are to everyone, we have this gorgeous natural discernment where we're respecting the lives around us in orbit, except we're keeping our gravity without leaving our power, right? Which
Love it. I love it. Okay, so this is the critical part. What is the best way, maybe one or two or three simple techniques to get you back to your center of calm and peace of view?
I'll just reiterate mine, pass it to Isaac. If you've got a quick moment, if you notice you're feeling out of body, if you notice you're being triggered and disassociative out of yourself, go and pretend you're going to the bathroom, sit on the toilet if you need, invite yourself to fall back behind your face, lean back on your spine, and through the doorway of your belly button, put a hand on it and invite yourself to take back the space by taking a few deep inhales. The doorway home is through your navel. If you feel like you're in your belly, you're in your body. So there's no more guesswork. If you feel like you're in your belly, you're in your body. As soon as you start to feel that gravity, immediately move to the skin and feel all of your skin, your fascia, all of your connective tissue firming, becoming your own gorgeous container. And then last but not least, allow that natural field up and buoyant in front of you in all directions. And there, take a breath. And then relax, knowing that nature has you. From that place, before you sound out one more note, inhale, exhale, and then go back into the environment that maybe triggered you and listen first from there and sound out how you feel from there. And to me, just like for me, it might change your life.
I love it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I would just add that, two things. One would be to just set an intention consciously for a safe space in the moment for you to embody, to step in, and consciously breathing, imagining you are grounding, connecting to the earth, feet kissing the ground, like Tarot said, breathing up through the feet into the belly, feeling that belly, and then breathing back out into the earth, just kind of really connecting to this mother also you've gotten by her, really connecting to this home, because you are home. And then bringing up that energy that gathers in your belly after a moment and sending that up the spine into the heart and sounding out from this home, this heart, and finding one thing that you're grateful for, maybe about your voice, since we're talking about the voice, one thing that you're grateful for, or you love about your voice, or like about your voice, or accept about your voice today. In that gratitude, you magnetize your spirit, your soul, and that's the nature right there. That gratitude, that is your true nature. And adding sound to that. And then from there, we believe in the power of voicing trauma. So inviting the small parts of you into that loving, safe space, and inviting that small voice to kind of be willing to sound out how it feels. And if it's anger, okay, so it's anger. It's safe to be angry. If it's sadness, it's safe to be sad. The tears will end one day, and, any feeling, trauma-based feeling, can be brought into this space and given voice. And in that being given voice, behaviorally, we get that coherence between the left and the right brain, the frontal cortex and the amygdala. Like there's this neutrality that triggers the natural healing response. Like Tara was saying before, the nature knows best. And sounding the unsounded, the unfeelable, traumatic feelings, we find creates harmony and equanimity in the system, the nervous system.
I love it. I do a whole class on releasing stuck emotions with the voice. And there's the first one is to make the sound of it with the intention of transforming it, releasing it, which is important because you can make the sound and just bring it up and feel like crap, right?
Sure.
But there's another one that I taught the kids as well, as one of my favorites, and that is to make the sound of it and slowly transform it into a vowel. Could go to love, could go to peace or gratitude, but just a vowel, because you're going from chaos to peace, like slower you do it, the better. And it was so cool with the kids. I'm like, teach that to the parents. Most people don't know how to shift emotions like that. And they're like, they've all got it down, right? I teach it
So
to your
good.
parents.
Yeah,
I love
seriously.
It's so great.
And then your future kids.
I love how similar the work we get to do is, isn't it? Just so satisfying and enriching. It's really, it's great.
Oh my God. I mean, just the most basic is just any vowel, right?
Yeah.
Just any vowel. But if you can then make it personal, like I now know my soul note and I can go to it. It's, I used to couldn't get that low and now I can.
Beautiful. That is so low.
It's a B. I'm a B.
I'm a B. I'm a B me.
Let it be.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Yeah. Anything else you would like to share?
I think that was rich. Yeah, what a beautiful moment
juicy.
we've had, and we hope that everyone here has had a great experience of their voice, right? Because this is exactly what this is here for, to arrive home and say yes. To say yes.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's just been a pleasure speaking with you guys and listening and God, it's like kind of like it is a big epiphany to it's not just expressing, it's listening at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
In
love
fact,
it.
50-50.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys take care.